Toyota didn't just bring money back to Formula One. They brought a computational trick so clever that Ferrari's engineering leads are pulling their hair out. While Maranello plays strictly inside the FIA's aerodynamic testing limits, Toyota Gazoo Racing unlocked a backdoor computational fluid dynamics method for TGR Haas. It quadruples their simulation processing output without breaching a single line of the FIA rulebook. The FIA knows about it. Rivals see the data spikes. But because of how the regulations are written, nobody can stop it. Here's the brilliant CFD trick Toyota pulled on Ferrari and why it changes the grid balance overnight. To get Toyota's trick, look at how the FIA controls car development in modern Formula One. In the old days, teams ran supercomputers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have $50 million for a massive GPU cluster? You out-simulated the competition. To kill that arms race, the FIA wrote Section F4 of the operational regulations. They created ATR, aerodynamic testing restrictions. The FIA doesn't just count wind tunnel runs, they count compute power. Every team gets a capped allocation of megaflop processing time, solver limits, and mesh counts. Finish higher in the championship? You get less compute time. Finish lower? You get more. It's a digital cage. Every simulation job solving fluid flow across a 3D F1 car model gets logged, encrypted, and sent straight to FIA auditing servers. Ferrari operates inside that cage. They burn compute tokens carefully. Floor tweaks, wing end plates, side pod undercuts, every run eats directly into their allowance. When Haas teamed up with Ferrari years ago, Haas shared Ferrari's software pipeline. Haas was bound by the exact same compute budget math. Ferrari watched every aero step Haas took and kept them on a short leash. Then Toyota Gazoo Racing walked in. Toyota didn't try to hack the FIA server. They read the legal definitions of what actually counts as a restricted CFD simulation. Under FIA rules, a simulation is audited as an official CFD test only if two criteria are met. It models fluid flow, air, gas, or thermal plasma. It uses 3D CAD geometry directly representing external surfaces of a Formula One car. Read that second point again. Run a simulation solving fluid flow over an F1 front wing? That's restricted. It hits your ATR budget. What if you aren't modeling the car's surface at all? What if you model abstract flow fields, microturbulent wake physics, internal structural flex vectors, or thermal boundary layers, without loading a single piece of F1 car CAD into the software? Toyota's supercomputing center in Cologne, Germany, houses elite automotive fluid solver clusters. They built them for Le Mans hypercars and World Rally Championship platforms. Toyota realized they could split aerodynamic research into two separate layers. Layer 1 is official F1 car geometry that sits in Banbury and Maranello. It runs under Haas's official FIA-monitored CFD allowance. Layer 2 is non-geometrical fluid physics research that sits in Cologne. It runs on Toyota's private supercomputers, completely outside the FIA's ATR umbrella. How does the trick actually work on an engineering level? Normally, when an aero engineer tests a new floor, they load it into a CFD solver. The software creates a mesh, millions of virtual cubes or pyramids around the floor, and calculates how air pressure, speed, and vortices interact with those points. That takes massive compute power. It eats your ATR quota in hours. Toyota flipped the process backward. In Cologne, Toyota runs deep learning algorithms on non-automotive shapes, abstract cylinders, geometric plates, generalized Venturi tunnels, and synthetic boundary planes. Because these shapes aren't a Formula One car, the FIA cannot regulate them. The FIA cannot stop an automaker from running fluid physics research on abstract shapes at their own facility. Toyota uses those supercomputers to map out exact mathematical behaviors for ground effect vortex decay, boundary layer separation, and turbulent tire squish wake under variable ride heights. They convert billions of data points into predictive algorithmic lookup tables. When TGR Haas fires up their official FIA-monitored CFD solver in Banbury, they don't waste compute power calculating basic fluid physics from scratch. They feed Toyota's pre-calculated predictive algorithms straight into the solver initialization code. Instead of spending 10 hours solving complex boundary equations, the Haas CFD solver gets the answer instantly. They bypass 80% of the mathematical compute time. Where Ferrari gets 20 high-resolution CFD runs out of their budget, TGR Haas gets 80, same FIA compute limit, 4 times the actionable aero data. Ferrari isn't stupid. Their aero team saw the rapid surface evolution on recent Haas concept renders and knew something was up. Haas wasn't making standard incremental updates. They were skipping entire development iterations. They jumped straight to hyper-optimized surface contours that usually require months of trial and error simulation. Ferrari raised the question directly with FIA technical delegates. They asked if Toyota's Cologne operations violated the associate partner rules. The FIA audited the servers at Banbury. They inspected the files. What did they find? 0 F1 geometries on Toyota servers. 0 CAD file transfers. Toyota didn't send Haas car parts or CAD files. They sent raw mathematical libraries. They sent optimized fluid solver code. The FIA rulebook regulates restricted aerodynamic testing. It does not regulate solver software efficiency. You cannot penalize a team for using a smarter calculator. Ferrari is trapped. For years, Maranello used Haas as an auxiliary testing node. They sold Haas parts, rented them tunnel time, and kept them dependent on Ferrari's tech. Now Haas has an independent tech engine behind them that operates faster, cleaner, and with far more processing efficiency than Ferrari can legally match. The CFD solver trick is only half the weapon. The other half is physical validation. CFD simulations mean nothing if you can't verify them in a real wind tunnel. Haas historically rented tunnel hours at Ferrari's facility in Maranello, but renting tunnel time is a bottleneck. Pack scale models, ship them across Europe, schedule run slots around Ferrari's main team, and pay heavy hourly rates. Toyota Gazoo Racing Europe owns the Cologne wind tunnel. It's a world-class, continuous flow, scale model testing facility equipped with a rolling road system. Toyota used this exact tunnel to dominate the World Endurance Championship. Under FIA rules, TGR Haas can officially nominate Cologne as their primary or secondary testing facility. But Toyota took it further. Before TGR Haas runs a scale model in an official FIA-monitored tunnel session, Toyota runs sub-assembly structural load testing, rapid prototype scale modeling, and preliminary surface pressure validation on non-restricted test rigs in Cologne. They test structural deflection of carbon composites under high-velocity airstreams. Flexing wings are huge in modern F1. Flex the wing just right at high speed, and you drop drag on the straights without losing downforce in corners. Testing flex characteristics in an official F1 wind tunnel burns allocated tunnel runs fast. Toyota tests physical flex properties in Cologne before the wing touches an official aerodynamic tunnel run. By the time Haas uses an official FIA tunnel run, the part is 95% verified. Every single tunnel second produces actionable, race-ready data. 0 wasted runs. All this data converges in one place, Haas headquarters in Banbury. Toyota didn't just build a new driver-in-the-loop simulator in Banbury for driver track practice. They built it as a real-time aero integration hub. When Toyota's synthetic math solvers process new flow concepts, that data feeds into the Banbury simulator within hours. Oliver Behrman, or TGR development drivers, jump into the rig, drive virtual laps, and give immediate feedback on floor sensitivity, pitch stability, and cornering balance. This creates a fast development loop. Cologne processes abstract mathematical fluid models. Banbury plugs those models into high-speed FIA CFD runs with 0 wasted compute time. The Banbury simulator tests driver feel and car balance that same afternoon. Cologne manufactures scale parts and verifies material flex. TGR Haas executes a single, targeted wind tunnel session that confirms the gains. Ferrari's traditional workflow takes 3 to 4 weeks to run through that same chain. TGR Haas does it in under 7 days. Ayao Komatsu's masterclass: none of this happened by accident. Ayao Komatsu, Haas team principal, is an engineer by trade. He worked as a track engineer at Lotus and chief race engineer at Haas before taking over. He knows how F1 rulebooks are constructed. He knows where the seams are. Komatsu knew Haas couldn't beat Ferrari, Mercedes, or Red Bull in a raw spending war. They didn't have the cash or the headcount. Instead of building a traditional F1 empire, Komatsu structured a technical alliance with Akio Toyota that exploits the gap between hardware infrastructure and software math. Toyota gets a direct pipeline into modern Formula One engineering, without spending $500 million entering a brand new team. Haas gets access to global-scale automotive supercomputing power that turns their lean team into an aerodynamic execution machine. It's the most efficient technical partnership on the F1 grid today. Can the FIA plug it? Can the FIA change the rules to close this loophole? They can try, but it's a legal minefield. If the FIA rewrites Section F4 to ban non-geometrical fluid math or algorithm optimization, they run into a wall. How do you legally define math? How do you distinguish between a team using a better mathematical algorithm versus running illegal CFD? If the FIA bans external mathematical solvers, every team's software stack, including Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari, gets dragged into legal chaos. Microsoft, AWS, and Siemens all supply solver code to F1 teams. You cannot ban mathematical software without breaking the digital grid. Toyota found a hole in the regulatory wall that cannot be plugged without breaking the wall itself. We're watching a classic Formula One tactical masterclass. While casual fans focus on driver transfers and sponsor stickers, the real races are won inside server racks and supercomputer clusters. Toyota didn't just sponsor Haas, they handed them a computational superweapon. They outsmarted the FIA's testing restrictions, put Ferrari on notice, and created an R&D engine that will power this team straight into 2027 and beyond. The FIA can monitor the wind tunnels, they can count the CFD runs, but they cannot stop Toyota from outthinking them. Will the FIA force a rule change to stop Toyota's computational math trick, or will rivals copy it before 2027? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, subscribe to stay ahead of the technical curve, and we'll see you in the next one.